is a Twitter storm. Ambassador Jenny's here. Let's fire it up, Jenny. What's the first question?
Elliot Rodriguez, I've noticed the speeches you've been doing at events lately have been almost word for word. Do you write them beforehand?
Well, Elliot, that's an excellent question, and the answer is absolutely not. You see the last speech I gave in San Francisco about getting money out of politics? You know when I wrote it? When I was on stage, people thought I was tweeting or emailing or something. I was writing the speech in my notes, and what I do is just outlines. So I write, like Sarah Palin did in her hand, freedom, money out of politics. No, I write simple lines for me to remember. Hey, mention the Max Baucus story, mention the poll about corruption in America. And so I've got about 5 or 6 lines in front of me on my iPhone. I lay it down and I do the rest of the speech like that because I do a 2-hour show every day on this. I'm pretty comfortable with the topic matter, and that's how I do the speeches. Next.
Henry Howe wants to know, of all the political sex scandals you've covered, which was your favorite and why?
I mean, that's a tough question. There's a lot of great sex scandals. I'm going to go with White Stance Larry Craig. I mean, there's so many great things about that. He's a family values guy, Republican, of course, not just having an affair, but a gay affair. Not just having an affair, but having an affair in bathrooms. Awesome. And then, can you beat the line, I am not now gay, nor have I ever been gay? Well, I love the idea of like, no. Right now, in the middle of this press conference, I'm not gay. I mean, earlier I might have been gay. But you know what? No. I wasn't gay back then either. Yeah. And then there was a great story about how he brought a guy home, and the guy had to lower the picture of his family before they had gay sex because it was uncomfortable to look. His wife was in the other room. Oh, that's a horrible sex scandal. Number 1. All right, what's next?
Elizabeth Schweitzer, do you think Anna would make a good supreme ruler, queen of the Westeros?
I do actually. I think she'd make a terrific Khaleesi. She's already the queen of the internet, so why not queen of Westeros? Look, she's pretty tough. She's a hanging judge, but at the same time, you know, she's smart and she has compassion as well. You need a mix of toughness and compassion. Anna, Khaleesi, go.
Cathayer wants to know, what mainstream media do you trust the most throughout the world in print and on TV?
Oh, that's a tough question. Not a lot in that category. McClatchy Newspapers does a good job. They often break stories. They investigate the government. They don't do false equivalency. And I trust their reporting. They're not slanted. They're not trying to give you an opinion. They're giving you the facts. Guardian, if you can, I don't know if you call that mainstream media or not, but over in England, they're independent. They do terrific reporting. On TV, man, that is slim pickings. Who's doing actual reporting on TV? 60 Minutes, kind of. You know, some of the time I get frustrated with their softballs, and other times I think, well, that's a pretty good story. Remember, they broke the torture story, and they had an inside person of the CIA come out. So they've done some pretty decent stuff. But overall, it's embarrassingly low amount of things you can go on TV. All right, what's next, Jenny?
Cody Kondratenko, what are your favorite pro sports teams?
Oh, fun. By a country mile, my favorite team is the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I care most about that more than anything else. Now, I used to watch baseball when I was a kid, and I was obsessed with the Yankees. I grew up in New Jersey. I knew the whole lineup. I knew everybody on the bench. I like their utility players. Randy Velarde and Jimmy Leyritz were like my favorite guys. But now I gave up on baseball. It's too boring. It's too long. They had a strike like back in '94. I was like, good enough. Get out of here. Done. End of this. Okay, come on, dude. The game takes like 8 hours. It takes 8 hours. Pitch the ball. Will you, for the Christ's sake, pitch the ball already? All right. And in basketball, the problem with basketball is that you almost have to be a fair weather fan because it's so dependent on the personalities. I loved the Lakers growing up. I loved Magic. That was my favorite team. And then Kobe took over the team, and he's an ass. So what am I going to do? Keep rooting for the Lakers? It's unbearable, right? So I keep switching to whichever guys I like better. And right now, I like the most boring team in America, the Spurs, because they have the best coach. Popovich is probably the best coach in all of sports. And he takes a team that, I mean, should get outshined on talent and consistently brings them to a top level. So that's your boring answer in basketball. Next.
Gavin Lockhart, what political ideology annoys you the most?
Oh, good question. And it is actually a surprising one. Communism. You know why? Oh, this whole thing of like kumbaya, let's all hold hands and do as much as we possibly can and only take what we need. On which planet? Nobody works that way. That's just not reality. I never thought it was reality. I always thought it was a crazy idea. It can't work. It doesn't work. And what drives me crazy about libertarians is, look, half of their ideology is fantastic, and I totally agree with. Get out of our private lives, whether it's legalizing weed, getting out of the wars, etc. But the other half is a little communist. I know libertarians are going to freak out over that. But the reality is, look, you say, oh my God, companies, corporations, they will voluntarily do the right things. Let's just leave them alone. No, you need cops, otherwise robbers rob the place blind. Corporations are never voluntarily going to do the right thing. Oh, the market will handle it. Like in the West Texas fertilizer plant, it handled it perfectly. The plant blew up, you see, and then nobody's going to go to that plant anymore. Yes, but a lot of people died in the meanwhile. Last question.
Eric Masterson, and I think a lot of TYT Nation wants to know, how did Of Course start?
All right. You know, people often ask me this in person, like, how did you come up with the catchphrase, etc.? It's not a catchphrase that I'm like, okay, wait, let me try. Maybe. No, that doesn't quite work. Yes. No, this is how I speak in real life. So I've been saying, of course, to my friends for years and years and years. So I just wound up saying it on air, and that's how all my so-called catchphrases are. That's just how I talk.